Welcome to Christ Culture, the podcast. I'm Kiana.
I'm Calvin.
And we got some juicy stuff for y'all today.
Yeah.
We're doing a series called The Power of. Every week we're talking about the power of something else and how you can practically apply it to your life.
Absolutely.
So today we're talking about the power of being still.
Being still, tranquil.
Posturing yourself to hear from God.
Yeah. And not just physical stillness, but mental stillness,
Ooh, yeah.
emotional stillness, spiritual. Did I already say that?
They work.
All right. But did I already say spiritual?
I don't think so.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So tune in because it's going to be a juicy one.
Yep. All right. Here it goes. Whoa.
Good morning.
What's up?
Good afternoon.
What episode is this?
29.
That was a big jump.
Just kidding. Oh, girl.
Shout out Sunday.
She wants a feature today.
Yeah.
She wants a feature.
Yeah, she'll go to sleep in a second when she hear me start talking.
Today's 13.
Is it?
Because we did 10 episodes last season or 9?
We did 10. We gave one away at the live event.
Okay. And then we've already shot 2
We
this
did.
season.
Oh, yeah, we
so
did
this
2
is
the
13.
first. This is 13.
Wow. Lucky number.
13 weeks we've been at it.
Wow.
That's crazy.
More than that.
That's true.
More than
'Cause
that.
we took a little break.
Yeah.
And by the time they hear this, it'll be even longer than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like halfway into the season already. Technically.
Crazy.
How you feeling this week?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good. Yeah. I got some practicals from some stuff I did this week. That kind
Okay.
of goes along with what we're talking about today. So,
Can't wait to hear about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How things go last night?
It was fun. We
Yeah.
had a game night last night. We played Taboo.
I heard Bree was cheating.
We get very competitive. We get very competitive. Tay and I made tacos. We had plant-based friendly options as well.
What?
Yeah. Missed out. Should've been
Tacos.
there. It's good.
Yeah.
Iman had a theory that you were watching the Eagles game. Is
I
that-
didn't really get to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we won though, so it didn't really matter. Wait, who's your team? Oh.
Jesus Christ. Great
Yeah.
answer. Great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not much of a football or a sports fan
Okay.
at all.
I know what you are.
What?
A workout fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, that I ain't gonna lie, like I didn't feel it like yesterday, but this morning when I woke up.
2 days later.
Yeah.
It's
I felt
always.
it.
How you guys feeling? I put them through a holy sweat workout on Friday, y'all. How you guys feeling 2 days later? Oh, yeah. It's like when you have to sit down or when you have to stand up. That's when you feel it.
Yeah. Well, it's not even my legs, which is crazy.
What are you sore with?
I don't know. It's just like a general soreness. It's just like a general. My body's like,
Oh.
what were you doing, dog?
What a crazy Friday night.
No, it's because like so some of the stuff that happened to me last year, it causes like inner ear balance issues.
Oh,
So usually when I work out by myself, it's more stationary stuff where I
Yeah.
don't have to move my head and neck a lot.
gotcha.
So the up and the down, the twist and the turns, my
very
system was like,
opposite.
what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, there was a moment where I was like, okay, don't stop. Keep going. Push you. And then you looked at me and I was like, okay, you can stop if you need to. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
My
yeah.
balance system was going crazy, but it was cool.
Yeah.
It was a nice workout.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad
So you
enjoyed it.
used to dance at that studio, right?
Yeah. So it's called Certified now. Shout out Certified in Springfield. But ironically enough, that was the studio that I grew up in.
Mhm.
Back in the day, it was called Strictly Rhythm.
Okay.
And it was a lot of memories in that area,
Yeah.
that studio.
Okay.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I don't regret anything. If anything, I'm very appreciative of my experience there because it taught me so much discipline and character building, and just I made a lot of lifelong friendships out of that experience as well. So
Yeah.
it's just really cool to be back in that space where I'm like, this is where we used to tap. This was the tap room. And like, so yeah, it was really cool and nostalgic to be in there.
Yeah. It was dope. It was a dope space. So
Yeah.
Thank you for hooking that up.
Yeah,
for us.
of course. Hopefully we'll do that more.
Yeah.
I'm
Will
trying
that
to get-
that vlog be out before this episode?
Should be.
Should be.
It's supposed to be this
Okay,
week.
so they'll get a chance to see that. They'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
You'll know, but
Cool.
speaking into the future at this point.
Yeah.
In the past.
Trying to figure out
I
where we
guess.
are in time
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about the power. We're doing the power series. So
Yep.
we're talking about the power of being still.
Ooh, something that have a hard time doing.
I think we all could attest to that.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to be still.
Yeah. What's one way you were still this week?
Oh, I took a bath.
Okay.
I mean, like I bathe daily, but like I took an
Thank you for clearing that up.
I had to make sure I took an actual bath, and like when I take
Okay.
baths, they're experiences for me
Okay.
because it's not like a shower where it's quick in and out or
Okay.
whatever. Like I be in there for like an hour.
Mm.
Like my fingers turn into.
I'll be honest
prunes.
with you. I don't think I've taken a bath. I don't even know.
See, doesn't that sound weird to say?
Yeah.
Where you say I do bathe, but I didn't take a bath, right? You almost sound dirty saying that,
Yeah.
right? But
When you first said it, I was like,
I took a bath this week. Yep, good job. I hope so.
yeah. So you took a bath.
Yeah, took a bath. And I don't know. I just always have like last week we asked like, how do you feed your soul or
Yeah.
your spirit? That's actually one way that I do, because when I take a bath, that's when I like completely just sit and be still.
Mhm.
And I hadn't taken one in a minute.
Okay.
I honestly think the last bath I took, we talked about in an episode where it was like, that was Conversations with Yourself. That was our very first episode.
Wow. The
So-
introductions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been a minute. But yeah, I had definitely a spiritual connection in my time in the water, and it was nice. I took some notes, but
Yeah.
definitely ties into what we're talking about
Right.
today.
So that can almost go into like self-care.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you like to do a lot of self-care stuff.
I love self-care.
Okay.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Let's see. What's one way I was still this week? I took like 2 naps this week,
I'm proud of you.
which is crazy.
That's hard for you.
Hard is not a good enough word. Like,
Okay.
I don't like stopping, but yeah, the people around me this week were like, "You just need to just relax for 2
Reset.
seconds," and
Yeah.
I was like, "I'll try."
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie to you. After I took that first nap, I was like, "I need to do that more often."
Yeah.
So
How long
yeah.
was your nap?
It was about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll build up though, but I don't want to sleep too long because then I'll be up all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 2 hours is a good nap time.
Yeah. Are you a daily napper?
No, I used to be.
Okay.
I used to be like right at 2:00.
Uh-huh.
That's when I go down.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I think because when I was in high school, that was about the time that we got home from school, and like clockwork, so weird. I would pour a glass of milk and make a PB&J
Mm-hmm.
and take a nap, pass
So
out
it was like
every
tradition.
single day.
Okay.
Come home, make a glass of milk, make a sandwich, take a 2-hour nap right until it's time to like get up and leave for dance.
Mm-hmm.
And then after dance, I would come home and like do my homework and go to sleep.
Wow.
Go to school the next day, repeat every single day.
Man.
So I was on
So
that.
it's like
clock.
it's like ingrained into your system.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't had that schedule in a minute, but like I just remember being a daily napper.
Okay. Yeah, that was the nap that I took this week. I want to say may have been the first time in close to a year. Yeah.
Wow.
I would get sleepy during the day, but I would feel like if I took a nap, I would like, I don't know, miss out on something or like, I don't know, fall behind. Whatever the case is, I just didn't want to go to sleep. I would just be up all day and I would get tired.
That's real, especially like when we want to be productive all day, because like that's part of the reason why I don't really watch TV, because I feel that feeling with TV where
Okay.
like I can't watch TV. Like TV is a reward for me
Mm-hmm.
at the end of my day.
Yeah.
So like if I'm like in the middle of my day, it's like noon, and I'm like, what's on TV?
Mhm.
Then I'm like, you could be doing something else that's getting you productive,
That's
like
so
being more
true.
productive. So I kind of relate that with like casual,
Yeah.
leisurely TV.
Yeah. That's so real. Yeah. I don't think I've turned the TV. I have a TV in my room as well. And I don't
Mhm.
think I've turned that one on in months,
Yeah.
which is crazy. But what was I about to say? You know what I'm falling in love with?
What?
Just quiet. Like just in a room with nothing, no TV, no phone, no nothing, just quiet.
Yeah.
That used to be so hard for me. Like I would have to have like the TV on in the background or music or like something that I could hear, but I like just sitting there now and just listening and just hearing
nice.
God's voice. Yeah. Do you do that?
I do. Okay. So like I work from home. So like when I'm on my laptop,
Mhm.
if I'm not going to like a coffee shop or something, like if I'm just at home, I find that I don't have anything on in the background
Yeah.
ever. And it's very, even like when I'm driving too,
Yeah.
if it's not a podcast or something that I'm like craving to listen to, it's just silent,
Yeah.
and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. That's a good one. I actually made a little rule for myself that my commute from work to home is pretty short.
Mm-hmm.
So I take that time every day and I never play music or anything. It's
Mm.
just quiet on the way home because I've been listening to stuff all day at work. So I'm like, this is just a period of time where I'm just going to be
Yeah.
completely
Just
quiet.
like still your mind.
Yeah.
I think that even came from like the car before the car I have now was basically a hoopty. Like it was
Okay.
falling apart. And my radio was boo boo. Like I had an aux cord, but then the cord broke off in the thing. So then I tried to get it out with super glue because I saw this hack on YouTube.
Oh, this is ghetto.
And it made it worse.
Okay.
And so like I just didn't have music.
Yeah.
So I didn't have much of an option to listen to things in the car. So I think that's probably where it started.
Okay. But you kept it.
I just kept it because I'm like, wow, I don't really know what to play right now. And
Yeah.
if I don't have anything I want to listen to,
Yeah.
it's quiet, but it's peaceful.
Yeah.
I like it.
I had to get used to the quiet. But like I said, I love it now.
Yeah.
Do you find it like uncomfortable to be still sometimes?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I actually just journaled that this week.
Okay.
And I didn't realize how foreign being still felt until I was still for a minute.
Okay.
And okay, so in my bath, I was just reflecting, right? And then I realized that the bath water is so still. And I was just staring at it. I'm like, even if I do a slight movement, like the water doesn't really move at all. Like me being completely submerged, and I'm like, this is eye level. This is the water.
Don't drown yourself.
Well, no, my nose is up, but like it's like maybe my chin, but I'm looking at the water like this.
Okay.
But the water is so still, and it just reminded me when I was 26, I took myself out for a self-love birthday, my 26th birthday, and I went on a float bath. Have you ever been to one of those?
Not at all.
It's so cool because you're in this like giant tub with like this hood on it. And if you're claustrophobic, maybe don't do it. But there's so much, I don't know how many pounds of salt they put in it, but there's so much salt in the water that your body naturally floats. And also because you're not in any type of current, you're literally just frozen.
Wow.
Like gravity, zero gravity, you're just floating in this water.
Yeah.
And you sit there for an hour. And so it reminded me of that because when I did that bath like a few years ago, I remember having such a hard time mentally being relaxed because your body is still, and I kept twitching or I kept like fidgeting, and I would get overwhelmed and anxious like the first 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like not knowing that you don't have to do anything. You just have to be still. And then so I was like, why is this so hard? So then I would just sit there and focus on breathing. And that helped me be still. But I just remember even in my bath this week, I was like, oh, this takes me back to that time when I was still.
Yeah.
And why does this feel like such a foreign idea that I haven't visited in such a long time? So yeah, definitely even relating that to our faith, like it's something that might be foreign because we're not used to it.
Yeah.
We don't position ourselves often enough to have that stillness.
Yes.
So then I'm like, oh, I have been feeling anxious this whole week, and I didn't even get to see that until I calmed and slowed things down.
Wow.
You know, very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
So I think we talked about last week, I started running on the treadmill, right? And so a lot of times when I run, and this kind of goes back to my balance issues, but if I run and then I don't do a gradual slowdown and I just stop the treadmill, when I get off the treadmill, it still feels like my body's moving.
I kind of like that feeling.
Yeah. You like it?
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
It's fun. It's like you're like walking on nothing.
No, I feel like I'm about to fall out.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
I am obsessed.
So I was thinking about it this week. I was like, sometimes I think in life we can get like that as well, where we're going, doing so many things throughout the week. You know, life is passing you by. You're not spending enough time with God, whatever the case is. And then when you do hit that button to stop, it feels like you're still moving forward and you don't know how to be in that moment. And that's why I brought up the fact that it's so uncomfortable to be still sometimes. Yeah. And it literally just takes practice. And sometimes you have to have that gradual slowing down of things instead of just an abrupt stop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was feeling that too, because it's just like for me to take the time, intentional time in my week to be like, okay, I'm just gonna not do anything. Like I'm putting my phone on do not disturb. I'm going upstairs, nobody call me, don't ask me for nothing. And then I light a candle and I listen to William Augusto, just still music.
Okay. Who is this William Augusto? Because you keep talking about
I could play it for you right now.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll play it on my Spotify.
Because you talked about him like 3 weeks, I feel like.
I love him. I don't even know what he looks like. I don't know if it's a person.
Is it just instrumental music or
it's
what?
Just instrumental. It's called soaking music.
Soaking music.
Put everybody on.
William Augusto.
And I usually listen to it to go to sleep. Here goes. He better sponsor us. Is it gonna play?
Is that a new phone?
be like this for 5 hours straight.
Okay, that's pretty tranquil.
Just want to breathe. Focus on your breath.
Do you use this for your meditation videos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It has that vibe.
Yeah. That's the vibe I'd be on.
Yeah. Okay.
Plugged everybody in.
William Augusto.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, yeah, just filling that silence. Also clear space for me to make way to hear God. Because even in that moment of me being still, I'm like, okay, let me not even try to not focus on anything that I have to do in the life. But let me just focus on what God is trying to tell me.
Yes.
So even that, it's like I'm literally, what's that app, Fruit Ninja?
Oh.
I'm slicing these thoughts that I'm having throughout the day or like throughout my time. And it's like, okay, you need to send this email. You need to reply to this person. You need to go and cut this music and like all this stuff. I'm like, just stop.
Mm-hmm.
So posturing myself to hear from God. And I actually got 2 visuals that I thought was kind of cool.
Hit me.
Okay, so the first visual was water, right? It's very still. And then I just thought about like Peter walking on the water.
Mm-hmm.
When Jesus was like, come to me. And without any type of question, Peter just walked out there and he was walking on water. And so as I'm sitting here in the bath, like I take my 2 fingers, I'm like, what would that feel like if I was walking on water? And so I was just walking like this on the surface. And what I felt was like, wow. Well, obviously because it's my fingers, I'm not having any type of gravity, but I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm going to sink. Like if this is me, these 2 fingers, I don't feel like I'm going to sink because what would I sink for? And then also too, it's like, even though I feel like every time I put my finger on the surface, I couldn't necessarily feel my water breaking the sill of the water.
Feel your finger.
Is that
what
I didn't say that.
No.
My water break. Anyway,
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? I couldn't necessarily feel it on my skin, but I could see that every time I stepped onto a next step, it left a ripple effect.
Okay.
So I kind of relayed that to my faith where it's like, okay, me walking out on faith, I don't have any type of fear that I'm going to fall. I just trust that I'm going to walk the way that I need to walk. And then even if I don't feel like I'm making a big impact, I am still making ripples in the water as far as I can see, as far as like to the edge of the tub.
Yeah.
Like even if I don't feel like I'm doing a lot, I'm still making some type of effect or some type of impact on the things around me. So that just kind of validated me in a way where I feel like I'm doing so many things. I get overwhelmed. Or like, is anything even working? Am I even like helping other people? I'm like, you start to second guess yourself sometimes when you're doing so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just gave me a visual validation of like, no, trust me. Don't even look back at where you're going. Know that I'm calling you out here. And if I'm calling you out here, you have nothing to worry about. And you're going to impact people because I'm calling you somewhere.
Yep.
So that was one visual that I got, what I thought was really cool.
Okay.
The second one, I was burning a candle.
Yeah.
Through a candle from Bath and Body Works. And so I was watching it and I'm like, I have every single light in the bathroom off. It's just this candle. And I just thought, how cool is that these 3 little flames are lighting the entire room. And it's kind of like God's flame, God's light. Not even just God, but it's like almost like the Trinity, where it's like God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit all burning at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you can't have the functionality of this candle without burning all 3 at the same time. Meaning like even in our spirit, you can't have your full spirit without having connection to all 3, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and God. And even when you have that connection, you illuminate a light throughout every corner in the room. You may not be able to see light in every single corner, but you're not supposed to focus on those darkest corners all the time. What needs to be focused on is what is the light brings. Like as far as the light shines, that's as far as you focus. You need to focus on. So yeah, I mean, those are just 2 visuals that he was showing me. So 1, to trust in God in your walk, and then 2, let your light shine because God's light shines, and that's how we breathe. That's how we move,
Yeah, for sure. I want to jump back to something you said about how stillness brings you to a place where you can hear from God. So I was actually looking at the definitions for the word still, and something interesting was, when we first think about being still, we think something physical, stop moving. But most of the definitions for still have something to do with sound. So like not making a sound, deep silence, those types of things were all in the definitions. Which brought me to the same conclusion as what you were just talking about, that being still actually puts you in a position to hear from God.
Yeah.
So, of course, I got Bible for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So this is Numbers. Let's see. Numbers 9, I believe. Verse 8. Actually, let me read this from the King James Version. So talk to the people while I find the scripture real quick.
Have you guys ever had a time when you were still that you didn't want to be still, but you knew that you had to? Dang. We've all had that then. That's relatable.
Okay. So this is Numbers 9 and 8. Moses was talking to some of the people about the Passover, and they didn't think that they could partake in the Passover because of some dead bodies that they had and whatnot. So basically, they're coming to Moses asking him, hey, what do we do about this? Because we want to participate, but we don't feel like we can participate. So this was his answer to them in verse 8. And it says, and Moses said unto them, stand still, and I will hear what the Lord will command concerning you. So my question when I read that was, why would he tell them to stand still? They're not the ones going to seek God. He is. So why does he need to tell them to stand still? And that just brought me back to what we were just talking about, and the fact that standing still doesn't necessarily mean a physical thing. You can still go throughout, your daily routines, the things that you're doing, your life. You don't have to just abruptly stop and do nothing all day and sit in your apartment.
Right.
But it's just posturing yourself to be able to hear from God. So that may mean something like withdrawing from some of the distractions, whether it's TV, whether it's social media, whatever. I'm actually in the middle of a fast right now, and we're staying away from social media. So really only time I get on is to post something for Christ Culture or MCE or something, then I'm off. So no scrolling, but just putting yourself in a position to hear from God is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that comes in so many different examples for a lot of people. Like I was actually just talking to a client about this, and she's trying to curb smoking. And she was saying, like, I've smoked for years at a time, and then I've also quit for years at a time, and I just find that when I get through certain seasons in my life, I pick it back up because I'm stressed, and that's my vice. And so I encouraged her. I was like, what's your relationship with fasting?
Yeah.
And she just went to quite biblically, like, oh, I've sustained from eating for certain periods of time, or like at certain times of the day, or from certain types of food. Like, she just related it to eating. And I said, have you ever thought about relating your fasting to like other things in your life?
Yeah.
So I kind of gave her the same posture where it's like, okay, if you're trying to quit smoking, you're denying your flesh.
Yeah.
Whatever your flesh is craving that you feel like is, or not even that you feel like, but whatever God is showing you that you don't need, that's not actually fruitful for you, then that's something that is worth fasting from.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be extreme as like quitting nicotine or something, but like you were saying, like with even social media. But I told her, I was like, every time that you feel, as you're letting go of cigarettes, right? Every time that you feel, oh, I want to smoke a cigarette, go to a journal or a Post-it note or something and write down exactly what you're feeling. Oh, I'm feeling anxious right now. I just want to smoke a cigarette. Like, do one simple sentence. It doesn't have to be extreme. But then you have like a log of all these times that you felt like you wanted these things. And then you also have a log showing you of, oh, I denied my flesh in that moment, and I'm continuing to do that. So I'm actually building this muscle, so I don't necessarily want to do it anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, that's another way that you can posture yourself in a practical way.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people think fasting is just not eating, which isn't always true. It's just an analogy.
Which is crazy you say that, because part of the fasting I'm doing right now, part of it is waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym. So part of what I was sacrificing was my comfort level, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I also subsequently sacrificed sleep. I didn't mean to do that, but I have been. But ultimately, it's just a way to show your devotion to God. It's just a way to, like we said, sacrifice something just to let him know, hey, God, I serve you. I want to sacrifice for you. I want to come nearer to you. I want to seek you, those types of things. So yeah.
So even as you're doing your fast, right? You waking up, it's probably not the most enjoyable thing to do.
It's not.
But even in your fasting, are you like, okay, I just woke up and then I went about my day? Like, how exactly are you relating your denying your flesh and then also connecting with God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So for me, number one, it starts the moment I wake up, because my first thought is I want to stay in the bed. But then my next thought is, no, I'm doing this for God, so get up. So that's how I immediately get from that point to that point. And then I go to the gym and do the run. But after that, I do a devotional. And that kind of just centers me back to, seeking God, listening to a word. There's a prayer call in the morning. Shout out Alfred Street Church, Baptist Church.
Hey.
Yeah. So I'm kind of doing it along with him. And so that's how I bring myself back to what's really important about it. And even the decisions throughout the day, like when I get on social media and I see messages or whatever, I'm like, no, you can't click that. You can't go on that. You can't do that. And that's a part of denying my flesh as well, because I used to spend time sitting there scrolling like everybody else. So it's just a tangible thing that I can do, that I can see. And then the other thing that you were talking about in your practical, about writing it down, I am a huge fan of receipts. I need receipts for everything. If something happens, I want to picture it. I want to type it down, something with a timestamp, so I can always go back and see it. And that helped me a lot on my journey over the last year, just being able to look back and say, this moment is hard, but you also had 10 other hard moments that you got through.
Yeah.
And you can get through this one as well.
Yeah. Can you speak to the moment when you feel like you want to stumble, or you're like, I just want to sleep in, or do you even snooze? Like, can you speak to the struggle part of fasting?
Yeah. So on the prayer call the other morning, the pastor was actually talking about the fact that the fast is not for perfection. It is simply for progression. You should be getting better throughout the fast. And it's going to be hard moments. You're literally denying your flesh. You are a fleshly vessel. You know what I mean? Although we are spirits, but we won't get into all that. So you're literally denying it. So it won't be easy. That's not the point of it. The point of it is, again, to show your devotion to God. The same way he came down, wrapped himself in flesh, and died for our sins. This is us saying, hey, God, this is my reasonable service to you, like Roman said.
Yeah.
This is a way that I can just show you that I love you, and that I want to do something for you. You're always doing something for me. Let me do something for you. Yeah.
Right.
So those moments where I really don't want to get up out of the bed. Number one, having an accountability partner is huge. And I have one, a great one. And she makes sure I'm up in the morning and whatnot. But that'll help a lot. I'll just say that'll help a lot, because there's been a couple mornings where my first thought is, I can just get up and do it later. And then the second thought is, no, she's going to be at the gym waiting on you. So you should probably just get up. So I think that's a good practical right there.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, I think people underestimate the value of an accountability partner.
There it is.
It's huge because, like, you're not just showing up for yourself, but you're also showing up for that other person.
Yes.
And it's like, I can let myself down and be okay with that, but I can't let another person down.
Yes.
Because now I'm affecting their journey because they're relying on me.
Yep.
So that's part of the other incentive to get up and do things that you don't necessarily want to do.
Absolutely.
It's that pool. Everybody needs a certain pool.
Yep.
And that helps a lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So we've kind of talked about being still, but there are several different types of stillness, I think. So we've touched on like physical stillness, but there's also mentally still, emotionally still, spiritually still. So how do you work on your mental stillness, and what does that mean to you to be mentally still?
This week was kind of a not mental still week.
It was a chaotic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Mental stillness to me, if I could visually do it, is meditation.
Yeah.
In a more, even if I can't like sit and close my eyes and be still, like if I don't have time for that all day or throughout my day, I find times in the things that I'm doing, especially my drive. I be going on autopilot.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. That's safe.
Yeah.
Teslas
in
do
Virginia traffic.
Teslas do it, so I could do it.
But you don't have a self-driving car. You have autopilot.
Right, but it's like built into my brain, so it's kind of like self-drive.
Okay.
It's just manual self-drive.
All right.
That. And then I like to take a walk.
Okay.
I like have to step away from my computer if I'm on it more than like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could get lost in editing and I'll be like, oh,
yeah,
it's dark outside.
Whole day gone.
Right, literally. Did you eat? So yeah, I have to take a walk. And yeah, I think those are my three biggest ones: meditating, driving, and walking.
Mm.
Because I have to get away from my tasks. And if I don't, then I can stay in them. I'm easily a workaholic. And I have to be intentional with my break times.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, okay, we're taking this whole day off. We're not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's hard for me. That's really hard for me.
Yeah.
Like that's usually my weekends. And then I'm like, okay, let's go to the gym then. Or,
do something.
who can I text to hang out? And then it's like, no, just be by yourself. Like, don't do anything. Don't do anything. So
not easy.
It's hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, mental stillness is definitely me clearing my mind. And then for me to do that, I have to focus on my breathing.
Okay.
Because if I can't leave it up to just my brain, because then all the people in there start working.
Okay.
And they're like, let's fill up this time. We have to fill up our schedule. We have to be doing something.
Yeah.
We have to be this.
You don't want to listen to them.
No. Because they try to tell me that you need to be busy instead of productive. Because even to be productive, there's rest times built in.
Yep.
Like at work, you have a lunch break.
Yeah.
It's built into your schedule for a reason.
Yep.
Because you can't just work 8 hours straight.
That's good.
Some people do. But it's a law, right? Isn't it?
I'm sure it is. You got to eat.
Yeah. You can't work more than like 6 hours at a time or something. You have to take at least a 30-minute break.
Yeah.
So it's that structure where it's like we're going to be productive, not busy.
Yeah.
Busy is just filler space.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily doing anything.
Yeah. I don't even remember the statistic, but I saw it at one point, and it was talking about the level of productivity in the workday. Most people only work for like 2 hours out of an 8-hour day, actually. So yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the definition of peace. So when I think of stillness, I kind of think of peace. Not that stillness is peace, but I think it can lead to peace in a certain way. So I want to read the definition for peace here. So peace is actually the freedom from disturbance. So you would think that it's not that. And I like the word freedom because it doesn't negate the fact that there will be disturbance. It just says freedom from it. So when I think about being mentally still, it doesn't mean that my mind won't go off on tangents. It doesn't mean that I won't have tough thoughts. It just means that those thoughts don't lock me up.
Yeah.
I'm not stuck in those thoughts. They don't hinder me from moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I think about being mentally still, I think of the scripture that says, peace that surpasses all understanding. So even in those chaotic moments, even when my mind's racing, there's still this peace within me. There's still this calmness, this stillness within me. So that's kind of what I think about when I think of mental stillness.
I like that.
Yeah.
I might have used this analogy before, but it just reminded me of it again. But like when you are meditating or in that mental peace, right? Imagine you're in the smoothest car. I've never ridden in a Tesla before, but I imagine it's probably
you want a Tesla? Because
I think so.
You
It's
said
the second
Tesla a few times.
I think I do.
Okay.
But imagine you're in this Tesla and it's just a smooth ride, right? Imagine there's no music playing. It's just that still ride. It's calm, right? You're also looking out of the window. As you're looking out of the window, you're passing different things. We might pass like a giant tree or like a building or a bird or a person on the sidewalk or something. Yeah. You're passing all these things. And I can relate peace to like you're focused, you're in the ride. That's your one stationary thing.
Yeah.
Stationary. But as you're surpassing these things, you're not gonna like see a tree and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta get out and touch that tree. You're not gonna stop your ride for that.
Yeah.
So you see that there's a tree, you acknowledge that it's a tree, but it's like, okay, it's a tree and I'm gonna pass it and I'm gonna keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You could be looking outside the window or you could be looking straight towards the road and just have like that whole serenity of peace.
Yeah.
So I kind of see it like that when you're going through meditation, because you're gonna have these thoughts, like you're gonna see these different things come into your pathway. But it's a matter on, okay, am I gonna stop this car just to think about this one thing?
Right. Just because I see something else.
Right. Instead of me just focusing on where I'm going in this piece and like focusing on my breathing and like what actually matters and stuff.
Yeah.
That's one way that I visualize that.
Yeah. You ever heard of Deion Sanders?
Think so. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a ex-football player. He's retired now, but he does a lot of, he's a coach in college and he does a lot of social media and everything. He loves the cameras. So, I watch his vlogs and, one thing that he always.
Wait. Oh, we already plugged in our vlogs?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Just make sure y'all are watching our vlogs. We got vlogs too.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
They're going to be coming out.
Okay, great.
But yeah, I was watching his vlog and one of the things he always said to his team was, when it came to distractions, because they're in college, so there's a lot going on around them. And he would always tell them, keep the main thing the main thing. And I love that saying so much, because kind of like your analogy where you're in the car, you should be focusing on what's in the front windshield, not what's on the side peripherals. So just keeping the main thing the main thing. And I think that goes back to mental stillness as well. Being able to allow those thoughts, like you said, to just pass and come and go, but staying focused on what it is that you should be doing, what it is that God wants you to be doing, where you are in life.
One thing, going back to like posturing, to keep your focus on that one thing. Like, even when I say, like, for example, when I was taking my bath, I was like, okay, I'm not going to just sit here in a tub of water. I want to actually have a whole experience while I'm in here. So like, I prayed to God. I'm like, God, just let me be still. Show me where I can, show me things that I can let go of. Show me things where you want me to focus on. If there's anything that I'm not seeing clearly, like, clear my mind so that I can focus on that. And so finding that intentionality to verbally express that this is what I want to focus on. You're not just expressing it to God, but you're also like manifesting it to yourself, where it's like, body, listen, this is what we're going to do right now. You know, you're claiming it. And so your body will actually follow because your words have such power. So that's also another thing that you could do to like make sure that you have that one focus. Because sometimes it, like for me, if I'm just thinking about it, like say even when I'm praying at night, like I have to verbally pray out loud at night, because then like I'll get into my prayer, I'll close my eyes and like I'll think things, and then there's so much static of all these other things that are going on. So my prayers aren't very clear. Like they're not very direct. So when I speak, I can only say so many words at one time. So then there's only one voice that's coming out at a time. So I funnel it through my words. Now there are times when I just pray in my brain, but like sometimes my brain is so overwhelmed that it's like I just don't even know what I'm saying, and then it comes out as jumble, which is, you know, speaking in tongue, but that's fine too. But for me, sometimes I just have to be very direct with my words.
I don't want to abandon the car analogy just yet.
Okay.
So I was just thinking about something. Sometimes when you're in that car, it's not only the distractions that are outside the window. Sometimes it's the distractions in the car that you do yourself. So you turn your music up, you're in your windshield, looking at your face or whatever the case is. You're looking in the rearview mirror, like you're doing things on your own inside that car. So sometimes you have to put yourself in check. And say, hey, it's not the world that's distracting me, it's me that's distracting myself. That's huge. And then get yourself back in the right spot. You know what I mean?
I realized that this week too, because I felt overwhelmed mentally, just overcapacitated. It was just like there's too much happening. And then looking at my exterior, I'm like, I don't really have that much things that I'm doing. But my brain is so combusted. So yeah, I think that's real. That's real, because I had to mentally check where I was at and the things that I was worried or hyper focused on, to clear those out. And I'm like, oh, you don't even have to worry about this. It's not even happening until like June. Like, what are you talking about? What are we stressed about? Don't stress about it.
I have to put myself in check a lot. Mentally, just to refocus. I talk to myself a lot throughout the day. I'm just like, what are you doing, man? Like focus up. But what you just said is big, because sometimes you feel more overwhelmed than you actually are. Where does that come from?
We give ourselves way too much credit sometimes. And I don't know if that's a manipulation from the devil to be like, okay, let me make you busy in your mind so you can't focus on what God's saying. Could be it. But we just give ourselves too much weight for no reason.
We really should be allowing God to bear some of that weight for us.
What would it be like if we only had one file in our brains, and it was the file that God downloaded, and we had no other static? Like, we would lose our minds, because we don't know how to be that still. We don't know how to be that focused.
But I think at the same time, it would always make people irrelevant. What would be the point? You know what I mean? God made us free moral agents for a reason. He gave us the right to choose for a reason, because he wants us to choose him. So if he took that choice away from us, what would be the point? You know, we'd just be robots.
I think about that when just the concept of utopian life
society.
I don't know what movie it was. It might have been called Utopia. But they were like on this giant cliff, and it was just this whole society where everybody was happy, everything always worked perfectly, and it just, even from older generations, they're just like, we're happy people.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever wrong. What is wrong? What's the word wrong? And it was just, I was like cringing. Yeah. I'm like, ew.
Sometimes that brings me peace, going back to peace as well in my life, in the tough moments, because I think, where would I be without the tough moments? Yeah. What would be the point if there was never any adversity in my life? You know, how would I grow? How would I get better? How would I get closer to God?
Isn't it weird that we almost ask for that sometimes?
Yeah.
It's like, take the trials out of my life, God.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to worry about these things.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna
do? I think
do?
ultimately we have to be like Jesus was, you know, when he was praying in the garden. He's like, I don't want this. Take this away from me. But also,
if it's your will first. Right. If it's your will, then yeah, take it out. But if not, I can handle it.
I think that's the part we forget sometimes is your will.
Yeah.
And we just ask him to take it away from us. But yeah, the hard times give you perspective.
Yeah.
Of how good the good times are. I was hanging out the other day and somebody asked me, they said, "Are you happy?" So you just look happy. And I was like, I am. But it's because of the trials and tribulations that I can recognize how happy I am in that moment. Otherwise, it would have just been a normal, regular day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need that adversity.
I feel that because even though I said my mind was staticky, I remember journaling where maybe I was just even still in that moment, but I'm like, I just feel very content. And for me to say that, I feel it's okay. It's almost like an emptiness, but it's not an empty, like a void empty. It's like a full empty. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That don't make no sense. That's an oxymoron. We played that in a taboo oxymoron.
Was that
that was one of our words.
Okay.
Bree got that for some reason. It was a good guess. I don't know how.
Did she cheat on that one?
I don't know. What?
Okay.
And she's like, moron.
Okay.
Like,
I see what you did.
I don't know how we got that. But she was killing it. She knew the cards. We need new cards. But yeah, it's to be content, to be still is not an emptiness that you feel. It's a fullness. And sometimes we don't understand what the fullness really feels like because we don't take the time to be like, oh, I am full. Not a fullness like when you're eating, you're full and you get the itis and you're like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. I need to take a nap.
Yeah.
I need to go to sleep. I need to knock out. It's not that type of full. It's like when you're eating, you're content. You're like, oh, I feel good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm energized. I feel good. You know, I can do anything right now. It's that.
Yeah.
And I was realizing, I'm like, oh, why does this still feels foreign to me?
Yeah.
You know, like, have I been that busy? Have I been that, like with my hands on everything that I haven't taken the time to be like, wow, this is a good full.
Yeah.
This is a good still that I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
I'm content.
I think about like a jug of water when you say that. Because when a jug of water is full, there's little movement in the water.
Yeah.
Because it can't move.
Yeah.
But the less that's in there, the more chaotic the movement because it has all that space. So when it's completely empty, you feel a void. But when it's full, you still kind of feel weird because there's not a lot of movement there.
Yeah.
It takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to say that is the idea of spiritual maturity as well. Because when we feel like, oh, I just need to fill up my time, I need to be doing all these things, I need to perform in order to have this grace and this peace. That's spiritual immaturity. That's deceptive. That's not actually how God works. Yeah. Right. But when we're doing just the things that we need to be doing and not extra, and not like bashing ourselves for the things that we're not doing, but we're right in that nice balance. Yeah. That spiritual maturity where it's like, I don't need to be doing a whole lot right now. Yep. I'm doing what I need to do.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. And I'm doing that right now, just spending time with people I love, you know. And
just grateful.
Being unapologetic about it. Just doing it.
Yeah.
Where we at on time? I feel like, have we been talking a long time or no? 30 minutes?
Oh.
43? Dang. That went by quick.
Let me see if I have anything else to talk about. But keep talking. Talk to the people.
Yo.
See, it's hard.
Yeah.
Do I have a question for you? Okay.
For me?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a practical for the people and also a practical that maybe you've had in your life. But what is, give me a prayer prompt of how you position yourself to be still with God and maybe just an inside scoop of what that conversation with God looks like in your life.
Repeat it one more time.
give me an inside scoop of a prayer prompt.
Mhm.
So a type of way that you pray
Mm-hmm.
to help people, or what has helped you
Yeah.
position yourself to be still
To be still.
and like hear from God.
One thing I would always say, especially before I went out on my walks, was speak God, your servant is listening. And I think that's less for him, but it's more for me, just to let myself, my body, my spirit understand the space we're about to go into. This is holy ground. This is sacred between you and God. Let all those other distractions, fall by the wayside. And just put your spirit and your mind in the position to where he is the priority right now. So yeah, I would just say practically, when you're about to go into that space, let him know that you're about to go into that space, but understand it's less for him, it's more for you.
Yeah.
So you're really telling yourself that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. What about you?
Let's see. How do I usually pray with that? I'd be like, hey God, thank you. I like praise him all the time, where I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful for all the things that we're doing right now in my life. But I always say renew my mind. That's like key for me. Renew my mind to show me the things that you're trying to teach me, and eliminate the things that are distracting me, that are no longer serving me, because I don't want to hold on to the things that are hurting me, or the things that aren't going to take me to the next season with you. But show me how I can be present in this moment right now, so that I can see what you're showing me and hear your voice very clearly.
Yeah.
And even if you're not trying to speak to me in this very moment, allow me to see that throughout my walk, throughout this day, throughout this week, whatever it is, and allow me to see your hand in the other people that are around me.
Yeah.
So it's not just me focusing on what I can do, but sometimes I lose sight of God is using people, different conversations, different connections, to move me in different ways, you know? Yeah. That's kind of a prayer that I go through.
Okay. Yeah.
You kind of said in the beginning that you had practicals. Did you already say them all?
I'm pretty sure I did.
You did?
Yeah. Throughout the conversation.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking.
You got anything else?
No.
Being still? We can be still right now. For 2 seconds. Everybody be still.
Do you ever catch yourself not breathing?
No.
Oh.
Do you?
Sometimes.
That's dangerous.
Well, I'm not like holding my breath, but maybe I like remind myself to take a deeper breath.
Okay. Yeah, my Apple Watch used to do that. It'd be like breathe, and I'd be like,
was that accurate?
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, I didn't breathe yet. Wow.
It felt like it sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
I like breathing.
We ready to get into questions?
Yeah.
Right.
This portion of our show is called Questions from the Audience, where we allow our audience to ask us some questions. So y'all drop some in the comments, or we can listen to our audience here.
Yep. Who got the mic?
What we got?
All right. So first question. What are the first steps one should take to build upon their spiritual maturity?
You got it?
Yeah. Soaking your presence in God's presence. Allowing him to come in, because sometimes we have a hard shell and sometimes we have trust issues. So allowing yourself to be humble enough to let God into your heart, because that's where he speaks through your heart.
Yeah. I would say number one, acknowledge that that's what you want to do in the first place.
Yeah.
Number two, surround yourself with people who are maybe more spiritually mature than you, or on the path that you're trying to get on, and use that fellowship to kind of help you grow as well. Yeah.
Next one. Is there a specific Bible verse you will go to when you're trying to be still?
Ooh. Don't know where it is, but mine is be still and know that I am God. That is my go-to. Because that takes all of my worries away, because it's like things that I feel like I have control over. It humbles me enough to be like, be still and let me do my work and know that I am God. I have everything in control. I know your future. I've already seen your past, and you have nothing to worry about. So that always helps me.
Yeah. It might sound contrary, but I love the scripture in, I believe it's Esther, where she says, if I perish, I perish. So she was about to go do something she wasn't supposed to do. And she basically said, if I die doing it, then so be it. So I say that to myself a lot of the times when I'm in the middle of a struggle or a hard day or a hard moment. It's like, I'm going to do this work for God regardless. So if I perish, I perish. And that just kind of calms my spirit. And it's like, okay, we know what we need to do now. Let's just get it done. No more questions?
Just 2 questions.
That was short.
Cool.
Subject?
Huh?
Subject on spot.
Oh, subject on the
SOS?
spot. Oh, Lord.
I didn't even think of one today. I guess that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, just on the spot.
Are you going first or I'm going first? You want to explain it?
Oh, yeah. So this one is called Subject on the Spot, where last season we did scripture on the spot, where we read a random scripture and do a 1-minute sermon on it. But this season we are doing a subject. So I will, or Calvin will say out a random topic.
Yep.
And we got to speak on it for 60 seconds.
Yeah. We had some good topics last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's fun. Give it for a loop.
You want to go first? Or what you want
Like
to
you
do?
give me a topic?
Yeah.
I'll give you a topic first.
All right.
Look around. Let's see. Okay. Off the top of my head. Board games.
Board games.
Oh wait. Not yet. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to just go with it. So the board game in particular that I'm thinking about is chess. There are a lot of pieces on a chessboard, but there's one that's more powerful than any of them. That's the queen, I believe. I don't play chess. So I equate the board game to the game of life. And there is one character who is more powerful than any other character, and that is God. It is your duty to learn of God and his ways and what role he plays in your life as the creator, as Elohim, as Yahweh, so that you can learn how to move that piece around your board, because if you do, you can always win. A lot of people place too much power on the other pieces on the board, maybe because they like how they look, or maybe because of the color, or whatever the case is, and they raise them up as a false idol only to get inside of the board game and realize that they don't actually have that type of power. So it is essential that you learn the power of the Queen, God, and use him accordingly and allow him to work in your life to win the game.
Yeah. That was nice. That was a good one. One, say it.
Tires on a car.
Oh, God. Tires?
Yeah, tires.
Automobiles? Okay. So on a car, you have 4 tires, right?
Yeah.
They're all substantial, and you need all 4 to make the vehicle move.
Yeah.
You can't move a vehicle without all 4 tires.
Nope.
Even if a tire is going low on air, it's going to be substantial that you fill that air back up to keep your ride smooth. In relation to our faith, we need to make sure that we have all areas of our spiritual in maintenance. We need to always make sure that we're checking on them, because we can't just be like, okay, I filled it up once and just go on a whole road trip. Like, you might have to make a few stops, do a couple pit stops, and check on things to make sure that the car is running right.
Yep.
So when we're talking about tires in our car, to make sure that they're fully inflated, you have to make sure that you're filling them up all the way. You can't just put a quarter in and then be like, oh, I think that's enough, and then walk away. You even have to check the pressure of the tire through the pressure checker.
Yep.
To make sure that they're not going flat, because you don't want your spirit to go flat ever.
Nice. Nice.
My dad gave me a tire pressure thing.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Did you use it yet?
Sometimes.
Okay.
My dad is my maintenance guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Not very good with cars.
All right. Season 2, epi 3.
This is 3. Episode 3.
Yeah.
Power of being still.
Being still. Yeah.
And we'll see you guys then. Oh, actually, so we're starting a Facebook group.
Oh, we are.
We're starting a Facebook group. You guys need to you guys want to plug into that, because we're actually starting a Christ Culture podcast ministry through there.
Yes, absolutely.
So we'll give you like weekly devotionals. We have a 6-week program kind of coming out, curriculum, I would say. And let's talk about what's included in that.
Yeah, so it won't just be me and Key. You guys see us a lot, but it'll be our full team. They'll each take a week, and they'll kind of go through the week and give you some different scriptures, practicals, worship music, testimonies and whatnot. So it'll be a great chance for you to get to know the team as well as get some good content.
Yeah. And not even just getting to know us as a team, but you can also get to know other people within the group. So you can also find fellowship there.
Absolutely.
So you're not just listening to our voice and trying to apply it on yourself. Like we have accountability in there, so you can also tap into other humans and be on the same journey.
It'll be a safe haven you can go to when you need something.
Yeah. So we'll put that link down below. Also plug in. We have blogs that we're gonna be or have been posting. I guess.
Yeah. At this point,
this
they'll
comes
already be out. Yeah.
So check those out. And
don't forget, like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell if you enjoy our content.
And we're trying to boost up. We're trying to reach a lot of people.
We are.
We're trying to let God's word just speak. So if you feel like this message or any of our episodes speak to somebody, please share it with them.
Yes,
because we want everybody to get God's light into their life some way or another.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it. That's what we got for y'all.
All right, we out.
Bye.
Peace.